2. This is the outline of today's presentation, an introduction. Then we'll talk of other manifestations of the academic witchcraft, then the strategies to overcome those, and then conclusion. Yes, I would like to begin by an introduction that talks about the term academic witchcraft. I think we need to appreciate this term very well before we delve into the various details of it. What do you think about this picture on our right side? It really depicts the academic witchcraft. I mean, it's a picture where you see a lot of darkness and people with some funny faces and what have you, but also some very important writing. In the classroom environment, I will have asked, what does this picture tell you? But because of online presentation, you could see that still ideas are here. Sabotage is here, not even well written. Blocking collaborative opportunities is in the cloud. Opportunities are here, they are locked in the bag. There's a bag here, we lock the opportunities in it and we carry away. And there are human beings having light at the back, meetings to decide on some of these things. This is the allegorical illustration. Allegory, you know, like Animal Farm, using image and things to mimic ideas. This is the allegorical illustration of academic witchcraft, which we conceive using AI. And I think it depicts the event very well. But as a matter of definition, the term refers to the unethical or toxic behavior in academic environment. Your unethical or toxic behavior, in academic environment. And these can include things like sabotage, effort to undermine the work and the reputation or career of student, colleagues, staff, and lecturers. Or it could mimic things like plagiarism, stealing intellectual properties or ideas without acknowledgement, or gatekeeping, restricting access to resources, recognition, or opportunities based on personal biases or politics, or petty rivalries, engaging in personal vendetta, power struggle, power rivalries, or power struggles that harms academic collaboration and progress. So these are various aspects of what we call unethical or toxic behavior to an academic environment, and these describe to some extent the term academic witchcraft. This is the second picture to further illustrate again this term before we go into the discussion. And I think this second picture is also showing some other aspects. It's a block from promotion, and that's what the phase 1 dealt with. Block from promotion. And then what else do we see in this picture? You see the gentleman at the back. One eye is closed, the other eye is not watching. He's just not seeing top, so he's blocked. He can't move forward. And if you look at the certificate that is supposed to end, then there is a nice quotation of bad certification. So everything is going, let me say haywire. Everything is going upside down. So it is a concept that can affect many people. When we talk of academic witchcraft, it's not just for students, it's not just for lecturers. It can affect in the academic environment, non-teaching staff, teaching staff, and students, and even it can affect the institutions as well. We can say of an institution that this is a failure, is a block institutions. We can say of an institution that is a successful institution. So it depends on how much that culture of academic witchcraft is carried within the institution. That determines success, because if academic witchcraft establishes itself very well in an institution, it leaves signs. And I want to read this last statement. It says, its signs are attributed to academic failure, which can best describe the concept. So when you see there is comprehensive set of failure at the institutional level, at the individual level, or whatever, you can best describe that, yes, academic witchcraft is well set up in that institution. The root of it can develop from any things that the university deal with, right from the council to the academic board, to the statutory and non-statutory committees, to the staff, to the lecturers and their behaviors, and also to the student. It concerned by all. And when an institution happen to overcome, certain level of academic witchcraft, it turns its achievement into good results, positive results. But when this spirit is rather high, it inhibits all good work and turn a lot of failures, you turn out a lot of failures. So this, I believe that we have an understanding of this very concept. We talk of unethical and toxic behaviors in the academic environment. Therefore, let's move on to today's presentation. In the previous presentation on the same concept, we dealt mostly with the corruption case, with the promotion case. In this presentation of today, we shall deal with 5 points: academic corruption, sidelining as number 2. Number 3, we'll talk of slandering, naysaying, and character assassination, what is also known as vilifying, and then killing, academic death, and finally, technology destruction. These 5 things make the palaver sauce we shall eat today. Yeah, let's start with the first one, academic corruption. When you talk of unethical or toxic behavior in an academic environment, which form the academic witchcraft, I can assure you that corruption is a huge portion of it. And corruption happens at all levels. We are all involved, and let us be conscious. Number 1, corruption can happen at the level of student versus lecturers. And the forms it takes mostly are exchange of money for sex or for grade. It happens in some institutions for one reason or the other, and in other institutions is hidden. Or it is about project where plagiarism. The students don't work, they copy somebody's work from another university, and then they get the credit required and they pass. Or contractual arrangement for project. It is now a style that students at the end of their training will now contract somebody who is not even trained and exposed to the level of information they are. And then the person is the one who draft the thesis, and they pay money and they come and present it to us as if it's their thesis. And then they can pass and then go. These are clear academic, wizards and witches that we need to hunt now. So this is an image that exemplifies the matter in questions: the lecturer and the student, the assignment, and then other negotiations. And this is a further illustration of the same thing. And these are fair lecturers as well. In case of lecturers, a very evil, unethical character to adopt in classroom is the non-attendance of lectures. Some lecturers even attend class, they will not organize one assignment, and then the marks fall from heavens. Then others will impose handout on students at a fee, which reasonably should be one of the things abolished from the time we are now. Is the plethora and the multiplicity of information available to students. I mean, if you love your career, you can only lead people and guide people to know, not to, extort money by producing some pieces of material and imposing it at a fee on the people. But these behaviors are all seen as very toxic and unethical in an academic setup. In the universities too, there are a lot of procurement breaches, and it affects the department. It's not just an office or somebody, it can affect everybody. Sometimes people come and they are giving interest to buy some very urgent things in their department, maybe consumable to run a lab. Once you know the price is 2 cedi, you inflate it and say it's 4 cedis because there haven't been enough time to check or not. Then you embezzle money. This is very toxic. Others, in other organizations, they use the 10% law. No one will undertake a contract or do anything unless 10% is first of all paid to whoever, the powers that be. That is very toxic, and that is an anti-behavior, for evolutions and progress. Or maybe supplier negotiation. This supplier is my friend. is my family mate, is this, is that. On that basis, let's give him the contract, whether he can deliver or not, so that I can get some favor from him or other benefits. These are all a number of behaviors in the academic setup that do not augur well. They are seen to be very toxic. And when many of these behavior goes on, the consequences are failure. When you go into these procurement breaches, it can affect project, it can affect works, and it reduces the pace at which things changes, in the university setup. If lecturers goes by their, maybe the wrong attitude, a few of them are mentioned here, it affects the student learning experience, where the student is supposed to acquire skills and competencies to thrive in this our complex economy. He pays, he sits in the classroom, but you destroy that build up by not attending or by frustrating them or putting them in a very tight corner. And again, if the student himself doesn't commit to do a small hard work and learn how to develop, project document and co, you end up again getting somebody to just copy some work for you and you pass, and the learning has not taken place. What do you say about the second picture we see here? We see a lot of masters. This is a student with a graduation gown, exchanging some books and then some money here, and others negotiating here and there and what have you. Let's talk about the second point of today's discussion. After academic corruption, let's talk briefly about sidelining. Sidelining is also another very important one, and it happens both at the level of student and at the level of lecturers. As you see in this picture, this is the lecturer who is speaking. There are few people who have attention to him. This guy sat opposite to the lecturer, watching from the back. This lady is not bothered. This gentleman is sidelined. He's not supposed to even tell and listen. It's quite a trouble. Exclusion from classroom activity can be seen as one of the activities under sidelining students, not involving students in group discussion, project work, or leadership role, or ignoring the contributions of good students in the classroom for reasons well known to the lecturers are forms of sidelining, which do not go well with the student. When there are biases in the treatment of students, favoring specific students based on academic performance, socioeconomic status, gender, or cultural background, while neglecting others is a form of serious bias, or disregarding the need of students, especially those with disability or those from marginalized group, can be seen as a serious bias and a sidelining for students, which do not augur well, for learning and for teaching and learning. Also, lack of support, providing few opportunities for academic help, mentoring, or extracurricular engagement for certain students, or assigning them tasks that are less engaging or do not utilize their potential, are all different forms of sidelining. Sidelining goes with staff as well. Watch this picture again. What these two pictures? What you say? As this is the board congratulating the best achievers at the end of the year. Meanwhile, the deserving employee himself is seated down here in the chair with all his award and grade and the achievement. Yet we sideline him, and it's another person we are congratulating. He has the hand in the pocket, the chest out. He's very bold and happy, and he's the one taking the praise for the work he hasn't done. This behavior of attributing praises for who does not deserve, or taking the work of whoever is in an office to a lower person or to a different person, is known as sidelining, and is one of the killing behavior, a behavior that kills the effort and the capabilities of staff in an academic environment. For instance, important people who reasonably cannot be off some of the meeting happen to be excluded sometimes from decision making. How is this possible? How is it possible that maybe a head of department or a dean is not included in the academic discussion on a student performance? Or how come maybe a head of department, dean, a pro vice chancellor, or whoever is not involved in a decision, about accreditation of a program in their department or things of the nature? These are sidelining. Sidelining can be very bitter if you have been a victim of it, and it can really, really turn people's effort down. While the person is the most deserving for an opportunity coming, then another person is taken to represent him. Sidelining go to the extent that major works are given to individual, but credit is given to another person. The person does the work. At the point of presenting the effort and congratulating this person to encourage him and motivate him to do the more, then the credit is given to another person as if that other person is the one who did the work. The same way as you work, opportunities come for, professional development where people can attend training here and there. And while the person serves and is really pulling all sorts of effort in the right position, his face perhaps is not pleasing. We put him aside and then we look for somebody whose face is nice, usually who cannot deliver, and that's the person who is put on all the professional development and opportunities. Again, social marginalization, excluding staff from informal network or social activities that will enhance the integration and influence within the university is also a trouble. Creating an environment where staff members feel unwelcome or undervalued is also something that goes under sidelining of staff. At least I'm glad that I have touched two already: academic corruption and then sidelining for both staff and students. Number three, we would like to talk of one of the very toxic and unethical behavior in the academic setup that contributes to the concept of academic witchcraft. This puts many terms together. I try to define them here: slandering, naysaying, and character assassination. What is slandering? Is about spreading false, let me say, unverified. Sometimes rumors come, and because the rumors serve me right that this person did not do well or is negative, I am happy. I don't go further to verify whether that information in itself is true or not. But because it seems to destroy somebody I don't like, then we spread it like wildfire. So spreading false or malicious statement about someone to damage the person's reputation, that is slandering. Or if not, that naysaying, we talked about it recently, is a persistent negativity or opposition to ideas rather than receiving positive criticism that will help, the progress of activities in an academic setup. There are individuals who have positioned themselves in a manner to be completely negative to everything, every idea, actions, or possible opportunities for progress that is brought about to the university. They only find the negative side of it. You tell them right now, Accra Tenka University is collaboration with NASA in the United States so that we can have some of our workers going into mass. That's that's mass, for instance. And they will tell you they will die. If they go, they will die. So they shouldn't go in that partnership. That's naysaying. Naysaying doesn't see anything positive about life. Character assassination or vilifying. I don't want to be passionate about any of the terms. Let me be fast so that I will listen to the contributions rather. Character assassination is another very important thing. Systematic is part of slandering and naysaying, is a systematic attempt to damage, someone's reputation through falsehoods, exaggerations, and then also manipulations. Yes, so false slandering can take many different, shapes in the university. You can have a false accusation during tenure review or promotion, or malicious rumor about student and staff integrity. I give you an example. How would you feel if you haven't done anything, but you are accused maybe of sleeping with a lady in your office? Somebody goes and says they saw you sleeping with a lady in your office, and this is spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, you have not done it. The truth is that nothing like this happened. How would you feel? This is an example we can discuss. Naysaying is about repeatedly dismissing innovative ideas of research proposal without valid reason, blocking institutional change, and co. And character assassination, targeted campaigns to discredit a colleague or a student through social professional network. These are not good. Let's talk about the fourth term. Out of the 5 terms, the fourth one is about killing. We call it academic death. Academic death can be explained from student and staff perspective. From the student side, academic death refers to the metaphorical or literal end of academic progress or professional growth of the student or lecturer. Some people in their journey, their academic journey in this life, they reach a point where nothing can be done for them to progress further. So it has to be a dropout. It has to be one thing or the other. And all this we see them as a result, of academic witchcrafting. For instance, some end up having consistent poor performance caused by many factors. I like to say that some students enter the university as genuine and correct students from home, but they end up in some social networks which do not augur well for academic progress. Some join clubs where they smoke weed. Some have joined clubs where they do all sorts of things, alcohol, they pursue sex, and the other side, and many things that deviate them from the academic progressions. And whatever you do, they don't care again to progress well on the academic career. So it comes with disinterest and lack of engagement so far as academic things are concerned. Violation of academic policies can lead to that same problem, plagiarism or cheating. So you fall under the disciplinary law of the university and they can sack you. Or mental health challenges comes out of the addictions that students engage themselves in during the university. So these are things you need to overcome. And I'm glad that I'll speak briefly about some strategies to overcome these challenges. Killing or academic death can affect lecturers. As you see in the picture, this is a lecturer with a nice bag. He's at the bus stop of Stagnation and Growth. Because that guy doesn't publish anymore. Lack of research output and grants. Never. People have been winning grants in the university, he has never won. Research, he doesn't publish. Registration on social platform, he knows he cannot register because his credentials are not good. So he's there. He has done 20, 30 years. He's not bothered. He's not going to do anything again. Professional misconduct. He can turn to bullying attitude, abuse of power, and things like that. Or stagnation in the career. There is nothing about him that bring a progress again, so far as the academic environment is concerned. And such people, they resist change. They are the naysay. They find trouble in everything because their own frustration is higher than anything else you are doing. And then exclusion from academic network. The last point we would like to make is about the technology destruction. Technology destruction is key. Today, for students, we know the occurrence of the artificial intelligence has helped in solving a lot of problems or generating content leading to a lack of critical thinking, creativity, and deeper understanding of subject. What I mean is that AI is there today, and anything you ask AI, it gives you the response. If you're not careful, you become a simple robot that go and collect the issues from the classroom or the assignment from the classroom, and you feed that information to your robot, the AI. The robot give you the solution, and usually the students don't even read what the AI has said. Then they return it back to the lecturer as the solution of the assignment, and they expect a very good mark. You get a lecturer who is not too critical, he give you good mark all the time. So what have you done to yourself? In the end, you have made yourself a channel to pass information, from the lecturer to the AI, and maybe an expert user of the AI, but you have lost the objective of the training and the learning, which is to create in you that critical thinking ability, that creativity, that innovations, that deeper understanding, which we believe belongs to you. You come to school because you have a hidden talent that we need to bring to the light, we need to bring to the fore through our training. And those are what are called critical thinking, creativity, and deeper. But you find a way to inhibit, these abilities by using a robot that responds to all your issues. Then you send, you get back, you finish. But inside you, you know that you don't know anything. You know you are not there. So bullying and harassment are another form. Now, people use AI, they misuse technology to do cyberbullying, cyberbullying peers and spread false information, creating or discrediting others in academic setting. And it's a very dangerous thing to explain. So I will leave it here for now. Then again, for lecturers, the overexploitation of the AI in research lead to a lot of ethical issue, in the sense that you have people presenting papers that they are not the original authors. They create ideas, everything else, and then they present to you, and it's like that, compromising the credibility of the academic work they do. And the overuse of surveillance tools under the AI can also be infringing on students, privacy, and creating some level of mistrust. So we need to look into that. So, colleagues, I'm happy to bring you to this point. I have touched on the 5 major things we need to discuss in this phase 2. I don't want to leave you without providing some possible ideas or strategies to overcome those challenges we elaborated. And that is why I like this picture, a roundtable discussion for us to find solutions to some of the problems. That's what we're doing today. We need a few things are here. We need to balance between integrity, collaborations, student, and then transparency in all that we do, and so many different things. So we categorize the provided strategies in 3. We need to implement and enforce policy at the institutional level to reduce room or some of the academic, witchcrafting activities. We need to also strengthen our quality assurance to mediate or reduce the occurrence of some of them, and we need to develop a few set of self-defensive actions. 3 major categories. The first one, we need to promote transparent policies for promoting committee selections and professional development opportunities that allows everybody to be selected, to taste, to have a chance, so that we can promote inclusivity and acceptability from all sides. Number 2, we need to encourage inclusive workplace culture where diverse voices are heard and valued. When some voices are shut down, they can become a serious weapon for destruction. So let us allow inclusivity to some extent, then all voices are heard and valued. Recognition of early signs of academic struggle is crucial for intervention, and then the conduct of regular reviews to identify and address instances of marginalization is key. When it comes to strengthen quality assurance, we're looking at conducting in a very effective and reliable manner the student assessment of lecturers. When we conduct a reliable student assessment of lecturers, we determine a lot of loopholes. If the student doubts the credibility and the way this assessment is done, they are even afraid to reveal the truth. But when they know that their anonymity will be kept very seriously, they can reveal to you exactly what transpired in the classroom. And again, so because the student who have bias based on the feelings and how some lecturers too can brainwash the student to fill this form very well, even if they are not good. So because of that, there is a need to have peer-to-peer review. That is a colleague sometime or a quality assurance delegate sitting in a classroom to listen, or at random, at random, you conduct some checks. Like yesterday, I was in a few classrooms to check, and I discovered a lot of trouble. So random checks of this nature can help unfold the truth and know what's going on in various classrooms. Transparent recruitment and promotion processes are key. Promotion was dealt with. 3, we need robust academic integrity system. Why did I say robust? Because with the advent of AI and many of the artificial intelligence tools now, you cannot trust any test you are reading. Any test produced on the paper for you, you left for God alone to tell whether 1% of the contribution comes from the student or not. So you out to determine plagiarism, and even similarities not only with previous work on the internet, even detecting AI content in the work you have. If you don't revise your policies to measure the content, the level of AI content and plagiarism, you'll be doing a disservice to yourself, because you will not train your students to be critical thinkers, to be innovators, and you train them to be better users of AI. That is what you end up doing. So the research ethics committee need to be strong, and the ethics policy need to be revised in those lights. Penalty for violation need to be carried. Monitoring and evaluation mechanism must be strengthened. So anonymous feedback systems, as I say, random checks, enable anonymous reporting of unethical behavior to encourage whistleblowing without fear of retaliation. Because you see, in the university, people want to inform you of what is happening, but they don't want to be the person who will lead the fight. And till we understand that mechanism very well and work on their anonymous, nature, we are still going to struggle to deal with the real problem we are facing. The problem is there. The people have seen it, but they are not ready to front it, to be the one who will write, because simply it would engage you into a lot of questions and a lot of processes that for people who are not used to legal things, they find difficult to go into those treatments. So they will hardly front anything and write officially and write their name that they are challenging this challenge or this problem in the university. So if the university rather create a way to receive reports or whistleblow on some of the events that are happening in a manner that the anonymity of the person presenting the result can be kept, you are likely to hear the challenges that are happening on the ground, and you can devise, solutions to cure them. Periodic audit can help, and performance review can help. Because of time, let's move. I think we have a set of 6 points here that are very interesting. You need to develop self-defensive actions. And here I take critical look at this. First of all, the first defensive action, you need to pray God. The academic environment is as complex as the forest, the bush, where you see animals hunting others. So individuals are always looking for a better position, a better placement. They want to be higher than you. Or in classroom, the student want to be the first. They want to have the higher GPA. So he plays everything in his favor to just get there. Or in the academic setup, so the positions are there. It can be dean, directors, and so many positions, vice chancellor, pro vice chancellor, and co. And people have eye on positions. And for that, they can do anything to destroy any competitor. He foresaw that next 2 years, there will be vacancy in this position, and you are likely to be the contender. If you find a way to assassinate your character now, then that destroys you ahead of that position. So there is a lot of competition. And therefore, first thing, hold your prayers strong. Number two, talk less about your success and plans. Because don't believe you have a friend when you get to a level that is as high as the deans, HODs, and co. No. Everybody and you share your plans with can enter that plan and find a means of destroying it. So please keep your successes and your plans to yourself and your family to some extent. Unless really the institutional one that need to come out. Number three, you need to develop an omnipresent system. You need to be omnipresent only connotes the fact that you must hear information. One of the channels that the academic witches and wizards use to destroy you is to keep away information from you. Information is the potential to thrive in this complex environment we have. There is a chance to get promoted. There is a chance to get a scholarship. There is a chance to get a grant. All these pass through communication. And if somebody managed to lobby you in a way that you don't get information, the person has killed you by 50% already. You have the responsibility to be omnipresent. The omnipresence here is about making yourself available on relevant platforms where you can get information easily. Making yourself accessible, positioning yourself in a university such that crucial information that will lead to growth do not escape you. That's what we call by you developing and omnipresent systems. Again, adopt silence or clear the line depending on the situation. These respond to the case I made earlier. An accusation, a wrong accusation. I say the person say, I saw you, lecturer X, sleeping with student Y. Meanwhile, it didn't happen. But he will go and say he saw you, feeling like this. People will ask proof, he will not be able to say any proof, but he will persist. And to the extent that if you are a figure, a political figure, or somebody who is rising in the university, then it will catch wildfire. You know very well some of these issues that have come out of the, some of the media, University of Ghana and other university before. I don't want to mention any name. So when you face a situation like this, and the truth is that you didn't do it, are you going to keep quiet? Would you keep quiet for the news to die on itself? Because you say that in your house you don't talk, so you'll be silent. Will you be silent? Or will you come and clear the line? I remember political people did even what we call a press conference here to clear the line on things they did not say, and the people carry wrongly. Sometimes if you keep silent on some of the information, it will kill you. It will surely kill you, and you will never rise again. So what you know you haven't done and is being used against you, when it catches some level, you need to clear the line and provide counter evidence. It's very necessary. Keep that in mind. Any of us can be victim of that. Number 5, do not refrain from task and act wisely with less emotion. This is very important when you realize that the people you are working with, they have sidelined you. You are there. You know that this meeting they call, you have to be part. You know that this nomination to go to this training, this nomination to attend this program, you support to be part by your position. But they don't call you. They don't invite you. Many of the activities they meet, you are the core, the center. You are not called. What will you do? Will you keep your hand closed because the wizard and the witches are on you and you will not do anything? Remember, the only thing that will promote you is the work you do. Never give up on your work. That should be a motivation for you to even work harder. Not to close your hand and say you are watching because they didn't call you. Work harder and prove that you can do something yourself. And be wise about your emotion. When people offend you, they put you in a situation where you bring out yourself, your emotion, and then you expose yourself to other unforeseen situations. If you don't carry your emotion well, you destroy yourself before you get there, and you might never get there. And for students who are now facing the full blockage, which we call academic death or lecturers, I think there is no further word than to seek counseling, psychological counseling, to bring them back to the reality. I think our counselors now should begin to look through the university setup. Those people in those challenges, both staff and students, begin to counsel them. Otherwise, there is no other avenue to deal with some of these problems. So, as a matter of fact, Accra Tenka University, we have been a successful university this year. We didn't go through. We managed our academic witchcraft team to some extent. And that led us to win so many awards. I shared that with you in one slide and I close. This year alone, 2024, is a year for which we have won so many awards. We won the National Sustainable Development Goal Award in curriculum development, in teaching, and also in energy research this year. We also won the Best Technical University Award in West Africa. This was delivered in Ethiopia only last month in November, and that is the prize we received. This year alone, we have won in 2022, we won the 28th Best University in Sub-Saharan, which makes us 4th Best University in Ghana, and the first technical university, therefore, in Ghana. That was it, this award. This year, 2024, we have repeated and regained and confirmed our position to be again the 4th best university in Ghana and the first technical university in Ghana. This is an exemplification of our effort to overcome some of these witchcrafting and blockages that yet, if you go into it, we wouldn't be able to succeed the way we have done it. This is just to give you a motivation and a thought-provoking approach to looking at this in the future. Conclusion. We need to foster a culture of integrity. We need to promote transparency and fairness. We need to prioritize mentorship and support. And we need to commit to continuous improvement and also to take accountability. And I think together we can achieve an environment less devoid of academic witchcrafting. I thank you very much, and I take the opportunity to introduce myself further. Thank you, and we have come to the end of today's presentation. I'm sure the MC can take over, and we will move into the discussion for questions and answers. Thank you. Thank you, MC.
Thank you very much, Professor Amevi Akakobi, for such an insightful delivery, thought-provoking, and we have learned a lot. Let me just walk our participants through some of the issues that you raised in course of the delivery. Academic witchcrafts, we know it is unethical behavior, toxic behavior, and the consequence on the university is failure. After which you delve into the 5 areas. You spoke about academic corruption, where it involves exchange of money or sex for grade, project plagiarism, contractual arrangements. You talk about non-attendance of lecturers, no classroom attendance. You are talking about forcing students to buy handouts, procurement breaches, inflation of prices. And then you also spoke about the slandering, sidelining of students, exclusion of students from classroom activities, biases in the treatment of students, lack of support that students with the staff, exclusion from decision making, limited professional opportunities, social management, and then you also delve into slandering, naysaying, and then character assassination, academic death, and what have you. And then you also spoke about technology destruction. Finally, you also gave strategies as to how we can overcome academic witchcrafts. We need to implement and enforce policies, strengthen quality assurance, and then develop self-defensive actions. So once again, we say, Prof, we are so much grateful. I would like to acknowledge some of our participants. We have from Kenya, some participants from Kenya. We have some from Somalia, and then we also have from Nigeria, and then Uganda, UK. We also have some from UK. So we really appreciate your participation, and we believe that we've learned a lot. So once again, we say, God bless you for joining us. And we also have participants from other sister universities. I know we have from Takrade, Sunyani, Kumasi, all over. So there's a global session. And Prof will also join you in congratulating Accra University for all these laurels and the efforts that you're also putting in management and the entire staff to reduce academic witchcraft. Thank you so much. So I'll hand over to my co-moderator, Mr. Abuaje, who will open the floor for the discussion, questions, and then I know our resource person is ready to provide answers to the questions. Thank you so much. My name is Daniel Sabuti, your moderator.
Yeah. Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Mr. Sabute, for giving me the opportunity to also handle the question side. Prof, can you hear me? Or
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, we can
Prof,
hear you clearly. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this presentation. I understand about 3 or 4 dialects in Ghana, and all the things that you said about, you spoke about. In Ghana, someone will say is Bomosu, Bomosu, and then in Akan, they will say Nipasu. and then Nipasu.
Nipasu.
And then in Eve, Amegbetoma Gbenono. So thank you very much for prompting us on these things. And I'm sure with your presentation, there will be a change. I mean, if somebody is into that, definitely that person will be thinking twice now. Now, I would like the participants to give us a virtual clapping to VC for the presentation. Virtual clapping. Let's give him a virtual clapping. Virtual clapping. So you can check your reaction side. You see a hand clapping. Let's all give him that virtual clapping.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Virtual clapping. Let's give it out. Let's give it out. Okay. Very good. Okay. So before I open the floor for discussion and questions, let's also look at comments that people have made in the chat. So from Nanaya Dodu, thank you very much, VC, for such a beautiful presentation. Martha Bedu, very thought-provoking indeed. God bless you, Prof. Then, Reverend Doctor, well done, Prof. You really inspired us. God Almighty bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Then one, Akuma Benjamin Boahene, you really know the terrain. Thanks for uncovering the dirty tricks in academia. We need to sanitize our institutions to allow freedom and encourage growth. That's a very powerful comment. All right. So at this juncture, I will open the floor for discussions and questions. So you can raise your hand, virtually raise your hand, and then we'll mention your name, and then you come in. All right. Eric Amponsa, you can unmute, and then you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much, Prof. These have been issues that have been hiding in our various environments. You normally don't have anybody to speak to or talk about them. We're very happy that we have somebody like you to espouse them the way you have done. And looking at someone at your level and the way you've handled this, I can only put you at the level of an academic archbishop, since you have learned and know so much about how to deal with this witchcraft. So, as an academic bishop, Prof, taking a cue from taking a cue from Public Accounts Committee, we have had instances where you watch and you realize that somebody has, been involved in some level of corruption, and yet you find the chairman says, "What did you do?" They say, "Well, we transferred him," and then it becomes a surprise. So, are you asking this person to go do the same thing, or how are you healing individuals from it? So, my question from that is, at your level in management, what do we do when someone is found maybe bullying, whatever the form is? At what point do we caution? What point do we sack? Or do we, like in the Bible scenario, allow the witches to live with the Christians until Judgment Day? That's the first one. And second one has to do especially with supervision, which is a problem, supervising students. We've had instances where you have one supervisor say, "Don't call me, come at this point. When you come, I'm not there, wait. When you wait, I don't come, come the next day." Sometimes forgetting that some of these students, especially graduate students, are also adults, working, have families. And it's quite disheartening. I want to pick your thoughts on it, on how we can. It's part of the reason for me why a lot of Africans would rather find graduate programs outside than ours. And so I would like to pick your thoughts on that. And then also from sometimes you have very good students, you have very good staff that you can count on every day. How do you manage such individuals from becoming targets of the witches on our campuses? And then my final one, you mentioned the issue of academic death. I've seen instances where you find somebody get to that crossroads and you realize that the person has very wonderful interest either than, the normal terrain that the trajectory of the institution is heading. So, for instance, I had this colleague who was excellent in networking. There was nothing about networking you call him on and he won't get solved. There was one guy we had very excellent cataloger in the library setting in terms of processing library materials. But he was at that crossroads. He didn't want to go to school. But when the work comes, it doesn't matter your level, you couldn't beat him on it. How do you manage such individuals in our environment other than thinking that they are at that crossroads and for that matter, their judgment is academic death? Thank you very much, Prof. And I'm organizing people to come and affirm you. Next year, by this time, you are
I beg you, don't go further. Thank you.
not acting. We don't want you to be acting. You are too good for that. So next year, we are coming to affirm you ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Okay, the next person in line is Mata Bedu, but please, let's go straight to the point. Let's go straight to asking the question. I'm taking only 4 for now. Then Prof can react to those questions. Let's go straight to the point, please. Thank you. Yeah, so Matabedu, you can come in. Eric Amponsa, kindly lower your hand. Lower your hand for me. Okay, if Matabedu is not there, Joseph Owusu, please come in.
All right. Good morning. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you. My question. Thank you, Prof, for the presentation. My question is in relation to. I think it's similar to Eric's second question as to lecturers and students' relationship. I had small studies at UNISA, University of South Africa. I was to submit my assignments. I told the professor that I can't use the if you like the LMS to submit it. This professor calls me to his office and said, "Joe, do as I do. So bring your laptop, bring the work, click as I click until I was done." In Ghana, we've had instances where supervisors throwing project work away from their offices. So Prof, I want to ask, is it that and I want to ask if there's any correlation between those who do their PhD in Ghana and those who do their PhD outside. Is it that those who do their PhD in Ghana, as they say, permanent hair damage? Is it the case for them, or in your studies, have you come across any such thing as to if there's any difference between those who do their PhD in Ghana and those who do their DS outside?
Well noted.
Hello.
Yeah, question well noted.
Thank you very much, Joseph. The next person is Desmond. So you can unmute and then you ask your question.
Okay.
And you are the last for this session. You are the last.
Thank you very much. Prof, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay. Prof, once again, congratulations and thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
I think they have touched what I want to ask. I really want to talk about the student engagement, as I was once the SRC president for Accra Technical University. And we have faced a lot during our engagement with lecturers based on research. And I think someone just said something about it. Sometimes we find it difficult when you are presenting your research to your lecturer, and sometimes even communication becomes a problem. You email the person, it takes a while, a month, before maybe the lecturer will respond. You will call them, they will not respond. You even go to the office. Sometimes they even sack you and say maybe come. They'll give you dates, you even go there and they will not mind. Prof, what I want to know is that how best can we encourage student engagement? A good one, of course. that students can have more. You know, one of the challenges we are facing as students is through these things, we don't find it interesting doing more research or doing our project work very well, because one, the lecturers are not giving you the right guidelines. They are not opening their doors to you, and you, the students, already, you are facing a lot. So I would like to know how best can we bridge that gap, that students can have more interest, they'll have that open access, that lecturers can help them to be able to do more research with their project work. And also sexual bullying in our university community. How best, what is the way forward, or what are some of the policies management can put in place that can help bridge that gap of sexual bullying? Because students go through, especially the ladies, they go through all these things, they report, the lecturers rather find it another way and even bully them through their grades, which becomes a problem in our university community. If you can touch more on that, or tell us the way that students can avoid or find a way to be able to come out from this sexual bullying.
Okay, that's going
I'd like to talk about the AI that now students are using during maybe class assignments, exercise. We are in someone will say digitalization era. What are the implementation our university community is putting in place that students can migrate from this local learning, that we can all have this technological way of learning, that students can use these IT tools that can help them with their academic, more research, and also help them in their during exams as well. And what are some of the policies we think can put in place that students will not abuse these AIs?
Desmond, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm struggling. I'm driving. I've ended up stopping at the filling station. I want to contribute, but then I can't use any of the tapons. Can I just ask the question, or
let's
the contribution
to
okay, straight to the point, please. Straight to the point.
Fantastic. So my name is Professor David Sapon, a really, really proud alumnus, I should say, of Accra Polytechnic. I did laboratory technology, and I am now a professor of organization and strategy at Western University in the UK. Really,
thank you so much, Prof.
Fantastic. That's why I really wanted to join. I've been very much interested in the development of Accra Polytechnic, being an alumnus, and really, really glad to have this conversation going on. But I'm very hopeful because Accra Technical University doesn't have the burden of history. It's been a very young institution, which implies that you can potentially overcome some of this academic evil that you enumerated. But I think there is a lot more to do when it comes to reinforcing this academic evil, or why people will actually do that to some extent, because I think the institution to some extent encourage
contribution. I think we have lost him. Okay, so Prof, you can react to the three questions. One, yeah, I can hear him. We can hear Professor David Sapon. Yeah. So, sorry, please. We had a technical challenge, and so the line dropped a bit. Okay, so Professor David.
I can't believe it. Everything is just the same courses: computer literacy, African studies, communication skills. That is untenable. And if we're talking about curriculum development, we're talking about so much stuff here. It's great. It appears we know what we are doing, but why are we having this? It doesn't speak well of the institution. Please make these changes. Please revise the syllabus. Please don't allow predatory journals. And I'm ever happy to do whatever I can help. I know at Accra Polytechnic, former students who are doing extremely well here, and I will potentially contact the Vice Chancellor, and I will see what best we can do to help. I've been coming to Ghana to do a lot of work for KNUST. I've never had a chance to come to Accra Polytechnic because I tried, and nobody responded. My name is David Sapon, and if you Google me, I'm a professor at Aston University in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Visi, so it means that he did a contribution. So it means
I
that
will respond.
we have three questions. One from Eric, who was talking about lecturers not supervising, and then project work, and then Joseph Owusu, who was also asking about a relationship between, is there any relationship between, correlation between those who are doing PhD here and those doing outside? And then the third person, Desmond, the former SRC president, also asking how best can we encourage students to do research or have a peaceful research project work with their lecturers. Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yes, please. You can go ahead.
Yeah, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and audience, I want to appreciate, first of all, most of your comment and also the question you have asked. Please, let's have some time to go through the responses and unfold some truth. Unfortunately, some of the things said, I will be forced to show you some evidence, some counter evidence of some of them. So let's have patience. Let me start with Eric Amponsa. Eric, thank you. You mentioned that sometimes you see some people at park and then they come back and then the bullying attitude and at what point do we deal with them or we wait forever? It's a delicate question. And it goes this way. When you are dealing with somebody who has power and the person is being a bully and is not doing the right thing, I think number one, the solution in an academic setup is not to completely keep quiet, but is not to also overreact. Academic environment have systemic systems that permit some level, of check and then complaint. There are channels through which complaint can be put in a manner that is not destructive at the beginning. I think those need to be explored. If it's issue that got to do with people personality, I think to some extent you have to go through union or to other extent speak to the person in question if he allows you to do so and find common solution. But in situation where the person, for instance, could be the overall boss and is very maybe arrogant and being a bully type and is not listening to you, you have to be advised that your overreaction down will not matter much because it will only end you being destroyed in front of a person. And the person probably start lining you and overusing his power, perhaps until his time is over and then he's no more in the system. But you have surely destroyed you because he has the power of the office, which at that time can act seriously. You see? So rather than fighting people like this at the beginning, why not seeking a way of counseling or advising them on a terrain that doesn't look like a fight? Perhaps that can bring a change. If not, evoking the systemic systems in the university setup, which have to do with maybe passing some of the things through the union and co, can do. But solely taking justice in hand and confronting such authority with a lot of power, it doesn't really end well. Surely they won't listen to you because the power shadow their face. They don't see what you are saying. And secondly, they feel like it's a power struggle. You are trying to just put them down. So there will be misinterpretation and it will affect you rather than more. So I think using the approach of soft talking, counseling, discussion, or raising the systemic system for complaint can do to some extent. May God help you in this regard. You also mentioned a very important issue that has to do with supervision. And I'm glad that Joseph also touched on the lecturer-student relationship. And he mentioned an example of him undertaking a study in outside Ghana, UNISA, where the supervisor made him, do the work with him and assisted him. I think the problem at that level is general. It's general and it affects Africa in general. It got to do with the level of intellectuality and the level of awareness, in this new space of supervising students. People need, there are two solutions to this problem. The first one is education. The second one is strengthening quality assurance. And I will touch on them. Education in the sense that I, for instance, some years back, undertook a course from the Stellenbosch University in South Africa on doctoral supervision. And there I discovered that many things and many attitude towards from a lecturer to a student needed corrections. These are rather skilled to acquire rather than thinking that they are instinctive with individual lecturers. It got to do with some extent of pedagogy. So people need to be trained that when you are dealing with a student, these are attitude to go with, these are attitude not to go with. This is how you can handle a student to achieve better. This is how what you shouldn't do. Rather than thinking that this is just instinctive and people naturally will behave to this expectation, I think it has to be taken to a level of training where lecturers in this environment are trained on how to conduct supervision. And that is what the school did in Stellenbosch. I've attended and I've learned a lot. So I think that comprehensively, the solution to this is number one, finding a way to strengthen training in pedagogy and then also in supervision per se. So this is something we can explore in the future. I've taken note of that, and I think my colleagues here have also taken note. It's one of the things we can consider for all our lecturers, for instance. But as I say, the solution is double. One is the education, which I just touch on. The second one is the quality assurance strengthening. In other university, I've said before, people have developed a set of forms that help them to monitor the relationship between students and supervisors. So they have to fill a form when they meet and tell the activity they have done, indicate the blockages and the challenges they have. And when they meet again, they fill the same forms. So in a semester, 3 or 4 times this form is filled and is monitored to know whether there's good progress and policies are there. If things are not going on, the student have a chance to complain when the lecturer is not doing what he has to do, and the lecturer can easily be disconnected. So this is a strong quality assurance system to implement on the level of project work supervision. And I think it's something we will start. We had challenges. We wanted to put it together. We had a bit of challenges because we needed to train the staff to be well aware and then make some changes themselves for these policies to run. But these are efforts that comprehensively we'll be working towards in the future. So some of these forms currently are developed, and we have a reset policy which also enforces what the student is supposed to do. So those guides are there, but the real implementation need to give more power to respecting the system, quality assurance, and again, training the lecturer to be up to that level, to appreciate the dynamic with the student now, not to take the student for granted or make his life ridiculous or worse off. So I've taken clue of that. Every institution in our journey, we need to be improving, and these are things that comprehensively will take up. Now, the last point you make is that we need to manage students not to become targets of witches and wizards. Students that we know, these students are excellent, and then they find themselves in a situation where you see that they are becoming victims or something like that. Or you also mentioned academic depth, that students who you know are very good, but they are not ready to take any further study or anything to progress academically. What you can do, I think these two cases fall in a situation where you need to provide either mentorship or counseling. Today, counseling is not for somebody who apparently, forgive me for my term, look like a mad person. No, it's for somebody who is very nice guy like us, but is not doing the right thing, and therefore his attention can be brought to what is right. I say mentorship because the counselor might not have the right information for that person, but somebody who is higher in that academic ladder can open up and show to that person the benefit, of continuing in a line that will provide him a lot of interest and a lot of things in his own life. So I think mentorship is key. Pairing people with senior academics who have the experience and who have actually done a lot in those areas can make substantial changes. And so I would recommend that in situations like this, find mentors to those people. And if you get a good mentor, you will see a quick change in their way of thinking and their way of doing things. So these actually respond to the questions of Eric and Poussin and Joseph also. Thank you very, very much. And now move on to the question by Desmond. Desmond stress much on how best we can engage students, how best we can work on the engagement between students and lecturers, issues of communications, issues of mistreatment, issues of, proper engagement. I think the answer is not far-fetched. It falls under the line of the first answer I gave. We need to do some training for our own lecturers on the pedagogy to handle supervision, and at the same time, implement some quality assurance systems that permit a proper monitoring of that relationship. These are challenges of all institutions. We have to comprehensively take them up. And I'm glad to let you know that ATU, we are planning to have a compulsory pedagogy course for all our lecturers starting from next year. And we are in close collaboration to have that training done by UCC, their distance learning education faculty. And this has also been approved by council. So I'm sure with some few measures put together, we'll be improving on this aspect. At the same time, however, even though you stress much on the negative aspects, permit me to say that there have been so many positive aspects too, where students spend quite good time and give very good recommendation on some of the lecturers who have understood this challenge and are working, to cure them. For me, for instance, I meet all my HND maybe text students every once a week, and they set up. And if it's even an hour or something, we do something. And the students are very happy. And many other lecturers do same. The fight against sexual harassment, which is the second thing you pointed out, is a serious fight in all academic institutions. We have put in a lot of measures. We work with the SRC, for instance, to publish to some extent some posters on campus so that people to really empower the ladies when they find themselves in a situation like this, to raise it. Or we were talking of the whistleblowing approach, where they fear their identity. So if they are anonymous, a way to cover their anonymity, then they do that easily. So this again falls under that line. And I think we have punished severely cases of sexual harassment in our institution. And I think the way management behaved in the past has become a deterrent for others to easily engage in sexual harassment. To our satisfaction, I can confidently say that we have a reduction in cases. Unless, I don't know, but from the previous years, it's been a year where it was heightened. And with these approaches of pasting posters and things, and then also punishment and action that goes with it, works now, trying to integrate some percentages of AI check to ensure that work we receive and we put on our website are not plagiarized work. The use of AI, for the use of AI, we are, and this is the only institution to have organized a training on AI last year. We did this in partnership with the Vanuatu Trade Commission for staff and students to get them, acquainted with the use of some of the tools that could serve them in classroom, Grammarly, Chat, GPT, and the rest. his submission. We are first of all glad to reconnect with us as an alumni, and we are proud of your achievement to be a professor in the UK. However, the issue of predatory papers that you publish, I invite you to have a second look at that, because ATU is 75 years old, and somehow, these issues of predatory belong to the past, in the sense that we have promoted the policy that do not allow publications in any predatory journal, and we have lived to that expectation to a very high extent. There are proof to that expectation. I will be glad to share. I'll take 2 minutes to share something right now, but we enacted and we passed a policy on publications that are only indexed in top databases, including the Scopus and the Web of Science. And since then, we have begun to generate research reports that evidence papers yearly that have been published in journal indexed in those databases. This is the current issue. So in the past, probably we couldn't, because it was not a global challenge, but we have part of this global challenge now. And I'm very happy we have solved it. And this contributes to our ranking by the time higher education to be selected and to be placed where we are. Majority of the papers accepted and published recently in ATU are all indexed in Scopus and Web of Science. And I take pride in that, and I congratulate the Director of Research for spearheading this agenda. I saw that Professor Anaya Wasabre and the new ones are all, Dr. Nyano are all connected. I want to congratulate you for that. And for just a minute, permit me to show you again in sharing this, because I need to talk with evidence. Permit me to share. My screen is shared right now, and allow me to show you this document. This document is the research report for 2022-2023 of Accra Technical University. It was published only yesterday. Let me walk you through and show you a few things that evidence what I'm saying. This is the forward, and then by the then myself here, and then the then Director of Research. And as I go down, this document is available. I will share the link on our chat so that you can look at it, the journey so far, and then the management systems. But then this begin to look at our research, university-wide global research affiliations and collaborations, and which is accessible through the Scopus platform. And then this begin to account for publications in various departments. And I can tell you all the publications listed here, we find them in Scopus and Web of Science. So the story of ATU has changed, please. We are far above the threshold now. And if you continue searching in this document, you get the attribute of this department by department. And you see the department that are performing and the level of publication we are doing. You see, this is Scopus and the Web of Science publications, and a number of them. That's the only one we account for in marketing, procurement and supply, management and accounting and finance. And we are very glad of that. Other department and their level of publication, the numbers are indicated. And then somewhere a document will show you the references to those very publications that you can take. And our people are also undertaking outstanding projects with top universities in the UK and other places that are receiving very good, feedback. Finally, let me share with you that Accra Technical University instituted a research and innovation fund, and we are glad in this report to show you ATU Research and Innovation Fund outcome. These are projects undertaken by people at ATU. Some of them that find themselves in top databases with publication. Others find themselves with product being registered by the Food and Drug Authority. This is a new director for the research department, and this is a head of department with outstanding projects and top publications. So I want you to believe, to reconnect properly with ATU and check the latest trend in our publication, where you see our research report 2016 to 2021, our research publication bulletins, and I assure you in advance that there is none of this publication here which is not indexed in Scopus and the Web of Science. I want to come back to the issue of syllabus. The story for the issue of syllabus is not different from the one I just mentioned. they have in considerable improvement and change in the syllabus. I demand that you take a bit more time to explore. It could be, and I will check that our research, maybe the website have not been updated, but not that the syllabi have not been updated. Our reaccreditation every 3 years gives us an opportunity to do so. And I'm very glad to let you know that we have approved 23 Bachelor of Technology programs recently and 11 master's programs that are running. And all these programs have in them component on artificial intelligence, research, critical thinking, project management, entrepreneurship, and all the things that the World Economic Forum is talking about as part of the fourth industrial revolution. It's quite an innovation that we have presented in many different, conferences. I invite you to revisit that. On the possibility of collaborating, I'm sorry that maybe you may have written, but perhaps for one reason or the other, you couldn't connect back to us. This is an opportunity to connect back now. Please, we'll share our email address, and we'll be glad if you can have your contact and have a meeting with you and see how you can connect to your alma mater and bring more contributions on the table. We are more than ready to welcome you and to receive your contributions as well, Prof. I thank you very much, and this ends the questions and the responses for now.
Prof, thank you very much for your rich response to the various questions that were asked. In our next batch, we have only one, and it's also pushing 1 o'clock, so I'm sure we have to wrap up. So the next person to ask, she typed in the chat, and she said, that's Beauty Awusi Nyavo Akponyo. How can we manage students with large numbers and engaging them individually? Prof, that's his question to us.
Yes. Thank you so much for the questions. I think this is a real situational challenge that we need to face technically and also solve. Recently, I must admit that in some of our program, because of maybe the way the program is run, a lot of people find interest. And I know the person speak from the fashion department. Fashion actually happened to be one of the departments that received a lot of students in the recent year and continue to receive a lot of students. I understand that this poses a lot of problem on infrastructure and then also lecturer-student ratio, so therefore quality assurance. We have devised a number of measures. One of them is to engage a lot of part-time lecturers to improve the lecturer-student ratio. And also, we are now recruiting in the very same department part-time technicians because we still do not have clearance to recruit a lot of people at a go. But beside the number of people we have recruited, another approach that we can use is to find intelligent means, to handle the student and still attend to their need individually by making use of advanced tools. That's what I'm saying. There is a need for training and retraining for the lecturers themselves. We attended seminars, and to collect feedback, they use special tools on the AI. You just connect, and then you can have a quiz done right now just by clicking on your phone. A few lecturers started, they call it Kahoot here. A few lecturers started using that, and others stopped using it. And in other situations, these tools permit you, for instance, to handle a problem of a mass in a second. And there are many more tools that have come with the AI that when we explore, can help us attend to a mass in a faster manner. So what we can do is to consider packages that are relevant to our problem. In this approach, you want to do a training or re-education for our lecturers in pedagogy and relevant skill to be able to handle the mass effectively. Whilst at the same time, we continue seeking avenues to recruit additional lecturers to make the student-lecturer ratio appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Prof,
Yes.
thank you very much for the response and advice and all the discussions that we've had. This one is personally from me. I wanted to know which AI tool did you use to create your images in your slides?
I will answer you individually. I will give it to you individually.
Okay. All right. So I'll hand over to my boss, Mr. Sabute, to wrap up. Then we can close.
Thank you very much, participants. And let me also say thank you to Professor Amevi Akakovi. It's been very, very insightful. We've learned a lot. I would say that if you are not practicing witchcraft, then you don't have to practice one. And if you're already in it, we've been helped to exercise that spirit.
Yeah.
So going forward, I believe that we'll live as people who forge ahead to ensure that the objective and the aims of the universities will be achieved. So on this note, we say thank you so much for your time, for your efforts and everything. And let me also commend the library for putting this program together, and the Association of African Universities. They've done so well. Thank you for your participation and every effort that you have put in. So I believe that the next session will be powerful as today's. So on this note, we wish you well.
There must be a phase 3.
Yes, we wish you well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Can we take a group picture?
Group picture.
You don't have to take the group picture. People
So
just
please,
turn on their camera
if
and
you
then
can put on your videos and then we can take the group picture. Wherever you are, kindly turn on your videos, and then together we'll look at our faces and then take a nice picture. Okay, so I'm here with my co-MC, Sabaji. All right.
Ready.
Ready. I like the way you're all smiling.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
yes.
Good.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.